All right, I'm at that line. Our assault will not be successful without the stealth and cunning of Wrathion and his Black Talon agents. We must convince him to help us. Thankfully, I know in his heart he will not deny someone in need, especially if they flatter him. So I was thinking about it and I was like, I can't think of a single time when Wrathion has been complimented in World of Warcraft, but I can think of plenty of times where he's been insulted. And I went back and I made a little list of times where he's been talked about in a derogatory manner by some character or another.
Hit us with it.
Cataclysm. In the Fangs of Our Father questline, there's Zazo, who says, between you and me, sometimes that little dragon kid creeps me out. Miss Pandaria. After Wrathion has eaten the heart of the Thunder King, Anduin says, what are you talking about? I don't trust you. And Wrathion admits, you are wise not to. There's probably more instances that I missed, but I haven't played it and I can't because the content has been removed from the game. So, war crimes. Jaina's first look at Wrathion, there's a line where she says that she's always felt maternal of Anduin and feels uneasy about his new friend, Wrathion, and that she's heard rumors that Wrathion might be a bad influence on him. This is Jaina thinking he's a bad influence and then other people spreading whatever that means, like whatever rumors about Wrathion are pointing her in that direction. It specifically said that some of the things Anduin reported Wrathion saying were concerning to her. And then when she looks at him, she describes him as looking dramatic and having an unusual outfit. And I just want to be like, Jaina, Anduin at this point is wearing this metallic gold tunic with pinstripe pants, and you are in a magenta stylized robe that bears your midriff. But Wrathion is the one who looks dramatic and unusual because he's wearing silks and baggy pants.
Calling it an unusual outfit, there's egregiousness with the design of it, like I said last time, Orientalism, you know, with Wrathion's outfit. But I don't really like that wording choice. I totally forgot about that.
At least she didn't call his turban exotic.
Oh, one step away. Yeah.
Warlords of Draenor. You have Admiral Taylor's garrison log where Wrathion is described as a fugitive of the Alliance. There's this entry where Taylor calls him a son of a bitch. The bitch is removed, but that's what he says. He calls Wrathion a son of a bitch. Battle for Azeroth. The very first thing anyone ever says about Wrathion is Caligos, who says, while I am loath to mention him, I do know of someone who has been studying the old gods in order to better combat their insidious power. While I am loath to mention him. That is what Caligos says about Wrathion. And just to clarify, no one has to appeal to Wrathion to get him to help with Abyssian.
How did you know that I had begun to hear N'Zoth's whispers?
One of my agents was watching over you.
You find out he's already had a contingency plan in place for if when Abyssian started to succumb to the whispers.
I knew that if you left the protection of High Mountain, you would become vulnerable.
Just because he considers Abyssian to be his brother.
You are my brother, the only one I have.
That's it. That's the only reason. So it's especially egregious that this line, especially if they flatter him, comes from Abyssian of all characters.
I did not realize you had such personal concern for my well-being.
And then you have the Visions of N'Zoth intro cinematic where Anduin punches him in the face and then spends the rest of the cinematic looking like he has something unpleasant under his nose as he's talking to Wrathion. Exploring Azeroth, Eastern Kingdoms. Wrathion's entire entry is, of course, written from Shaw's point of view, so it's all about how Wrathion is still suspicious and untrustworthy, and Shaw will be keeping an eye on him and is wary of him. He, reluctantly gives Wrathion credit for helping to take down N'Zoth. That's a footnote.
Sure that I could do that, I just didn't want to.
The Vow Eternal. Wrathion goes to that party and he's concerned about being seen as a monster. There's that outburst with Kurog. He describes Wrathion as cobbled together out of pieces of corpses, says he will never remove the reek of what he is. And some people at the party are cheering at all of this and shouting in support of Kurog. After the incident has been resolved and Lorthamar has stepped in, people are still smirking at him like they find this all funny, and he overhears some murmurs of conversation saying ugly and cruel things about him, and he doesn't seem particularly surprised at all of this. He just seems to kind of accept it as a matter of course and then gracefully ducks out of the banquet. And then you have Dragonflight. We've been talking about this. Sibelian insults him constantly. You have dragons in Sibelian's flight calling him Pompous Prince. My favorite cutscene, I think, in this expansion so far has been the one where he shows up at Stormwind with the Drakthir and he's so confident. He's like, oh yeah, they know me here. And then he lands and is immediately swarmed by all of these Alliance soldiers. And then Shaw shows up. There's like one instance that I found where Major Domo sort of gives Wrathion a compliment where he says that Wrathion fights like a much older dragon and the trials he must have faced have aged him beyond his years. But that's not said to Wrathion, it's said to the champion, so it's not like buttering him up. So yeah, that was a lot. I just really wanted to get the point across. Thankfully, I know in his heart he will not deny someone in need.
Of course. You are my brother, the only one I have.
Lad, he's come to help us.
Anduin! Don't you see, old friend?
Especially if they flatter him. Especially if they flatter him. Especially if they flatter him. This line is just ridiculous because it just does not happen. That is not how he operates.
I suppose I deserved that.
Oh, you deserve more than that.
It's just never ending with this character.